So we're going to demold the two other filters that we constructed. So the one that had a very wet mix and the one that had a drier mix. So in this one, this was a very wet one. So we can see that there's a lot of spillage of cement sand coming over the edges. It's also very powdery. And all the white on the floor here, that's cement that's been washed out with all the excess water. Really, we don't want cement on the floor, we want it in the filter, binding it together. So this will be weaker, but it may well have a very nice finish because it's wet and it filled the mold well. But we'll have a look at that when we take it out. So we go through the same process again with the extractor. We're using the same extractor for all three molds. We don't need a separate one for each one. So we're just taking out the last bolt from this one. It started to release, but we're going to give it a bit of a gentle knock with the mallet. You tap it a bit there. So I think what's happened here is that because the mixer was very wet, it's created a bit of a lip in behind the plate that was holding the nose. Aha! So it's actually pulling out from the back part, so we'll take that off for now and try and release this front plate. So yeah, so on first sight, this one looks quite good. This was a very wet mix. You see there's a sort of different texture along the corners, and I think that's probably because that's where a lot of the water seeped out from. And there's also this sort of funny texture here. But we'll fill this one with water, and then we'll check for leaks. So we're starting to fill this one, and already we can see there's a crack here, a hole here. Yeah. It's leaking quite badly all around the base, and I think as the water rises up inside, we'll start to see a few more leaks. But yeah, that's quite a sizable leak that's running out now. So that's partially the concrete mix and the wetness of the mix contributes to that, but also because we didn't come back and rework the top and bind the base back into the wall of the filter. Okay, so now we're going to check the flow rate of this filter. I'm pretty sure the tube is kinked or blocked in some way, so we'll be looking to see what the flow rate is on this one. So I'm just going to fill with water. So I think we can see already that there is water coming through, but we're just getting a few drips. It's far too slow, so we know that there's an issue with this tube. So either it's been kinked where it curves inside the concrete, or there's a piece of stone or a piece of some sand that's got inside. There's something that's impeding the flow, and we can check to see whether there's something obvious and we can remove it. Otherwise, yeah, we may have to abandon this filter because it will never work properly. The dry mix one, we'll see what that's going to be quite. I think it will be quite rough. May well be cracked, and there's probably the nose portion is probably not completely filled. Okay, so we've released all the bolts on the front here. We've left a couple in place just to hold things, and we'll remove those, and then we'll take off the front plate. And now I've already looked underneath into the nose, and because the mix was so dry, it wasn't able to flow into this nose portion and fill it. So we know there's going to be a problem there. So we're just going to try and ease it off the front. There we go. So yeah, so you can see that the nose didn't form properly because the concrete was so dry. It wasn't able to fill that form. So this is not going to work with a filter. The other thing we can see is that you can see it's very grainy. You can see the sand, you can see the texture of the gravel, and there wasn't enough water to help everything flow together and form a dense matrix. So I think it's going to be highly likely that this one will leak, but we'll continue with removing the mold, and then we'll fill this one with water as well, and go through the checks. So the top here is very fragile, so we'll try not to lean on it too much. So now we're starting to fill this. Oh! So on this one, the water's coming out of the base and through the cracks and all the gaps almost as quickly as we've got it going in. So I'd say that this one has not passed the test. Again, it's because the mix was quite dry and we weren't able to work it, and we weren't able to compact it together and create a very dense matrix of the sand, the gravel and the cement. I don't think we should bother with the other tests on this one. This one is going to be disposed of. These checks that we're doing on the finished body, they're all contained in this document, the quality control test protocol.